engineer in the locomotive back there. His name is Steven. A few safety things to go over before we get started here. I do ask you guys please remain seated. There are parts of the mountain where I'll allow you to stand up. If you choose to do so, just please don't hang onto our light fixture. I know it might look like a handle, but it will not act as a handle, and I have seen it break. So to avoid that, we just won't hang on it. You guys can open and close the windows as you please. You just have to, you might have to push up a little bit and then pull those two metal pin tabs inwards. Some of them might be tougher to get than others, but it is going to get pretty toasty in here. But if you have your window open, just please keep your cameras and phones inside, as if you drop it, we're not stopping to get it. As well as there's a fire door in the back there, leave that closed at all times. If it pops open, don't panic, just close it or let me know and I'll close it. Any buttons, wheels, or levers you guys see back there, it's all part of our braking system, so to ensure you guys get up the mountain here safely, they're all set exactly where they need to be. Now our track's about 3 miles long. We have 4 of these hydraulic switches and 1 bridge crossing there. And we'll start down here at 2,700 feet and climb all the way up to 6,288. Now we should have plenty of views, even though it is a bit hazy. The haze has been around for about a week now, so I'm hoping it's planning on leaving here soon. But you guys will still have plenty of views. It's still a clear day. This is very rare weather for Mount Washington, as for about 70% of our year, we're just in the clouds with low visibility. So it's only about 30% do we actually get a day like today, where there's no sign of clouds or rain, there's just a lot of haze. Now, I haven't been to the summit yet today, so I can't give you a summit forecast, but I can assume there will be probably 15, 20 mile an hour winds up there, so it'll be a nice cool breeze. There'll be plenty to do up there. You guys will have 55 minutes up when you're up there, so hang on to your tickets, as you will need them to show the other brakemen for the way down. If you lose them, don't worry, you can head inside to our post office and our postman will get you a new one. But for now, I'm just waiting on a call from dispatch to give us the okay to go ahead. So if you guys just want to hang tight here for a second, I will be right back.
How many ups and downs have you done in all? Oh, how many every day is that? How many have you done today? We have a dog whose name is Ben, and his birthday was yesterday. What are Sunny's? November 4th. Does he ever go under? What happens if he's in the car, or if he's in a train and he gets scared?
bridge crossing here does bring us over the Ammonoosuc River, which will flow down from the Lakes of the Clouds atop the Ammonoosuc Ravine. Now to flow by our base station, head all the way down our base road, take a right turn and head for Littleton, New Hampshire. Where it'll eventually head into the Connecticut River and then flow all the way down to Long Island Sound, emptying into the Atlantic Ocean. Now the Lakes of the Clouds are the highest elevation lakes here, east of the Mississippi. And depending on how bad the haze is at the top, if you find the right spot on the summit, you'll be able to see the lakes for yourselves. Now here in just a few moments, we'll be accelerating up to our cruising speed here, in which Engineer Steven will sound the horn to announce that we have reached it. Our cruising speed here today of 5 miles an hour. Now, it might not sound very fast, but in the old days of the railroad, their trips could take upwards to 4 hours, traveling at 1.5 miles an hour. So today, your 45-minute trip at 5 is blazing fast in comparison. I do want you guys to take a look at the environment around you, as we will be passing through 4 different ecozones today. The first one down here being the mixed northern hardwood forest. So here you have your red maples, sugar maples, birch trees, and evergreen trees. Also take note of the height of the trees here, because as we climb in elevation, they will start to shrink and eventually disappear completely. California, but only made it about as far as Illinois, where he settled down in a small town of about 300 people. He was there and he realized he could change the way that meat was packed and shipped across the United States, so he did just that. He started a meat packing industry, and it took off immediately, earning him millions upon millions of dollars. Now, as his industry grew, so did that small town around him, eventually becoming the city of Chicago. Now, after Sylvester made his millions, he decided he wanted to retire and move back east. So he came home to New Hampshire, where one day he grabbed one of his pastors and they decided they wanted to hike Mount Washington. So they started up the mountain. On a nice clear day with no sign of inclement weather rolling in, but by the time they got to our skyline, the weather had turned for the worst, and they had stuck in a pretty nasty storm. But they were able to push through and make it to the tip-top house. And it was that following morning when Sylvester stepped outside, he was able to take in all the amazing views from Mount Washington. And it was then he realized he wanted to create a way to allow your tourists to be able to summit the mountain without having to worry about going up the hiking trails. So he came up with a few ideas, but the one that really stuck was our rack and con system here. And with that, he brought his proposal down to the State House. And when he got down there, they laughed him out of the room, telling him that there was no way he would be able to get a train to go up this steep of a grade, as your normal train can only go up about 7% grade. And here on Mount Washington, our average grade is 25%. But he convinced them that he would self-fund the entire project and use zero state funding, so they finally gave him a charter. And when he was leaving the State House, they told Sylvester, when you reach the summit of Mount Washington, you might as well build a railway to the moon. So Sylvester took that, put a chip on his shoulder, and gave the Cobb Railway her first nickname, the Railway to the Moon. He was very eager to start construction, but he had two obstacles he had to get through before he could start. First one being he had some legal matter to deal with back in Chicago. So he went back to Illinois and hired a young lawyer by the name of Abraham Lincoln. It was actually one of the last cases that Lincoln worked on as a lawyer. Now, the other one was he had to wait for the end of the Civil War. track itself is not original as it has been phased out and replaced over time. It does still roughly follow the original path the first railway took. Now our passing lane was implemented because we used to have to pull a train on what we called a spur. There's a little pull off on the side of the tracks, and there the train would sit and wait for the up or down mountain locomotive to pass by. Now, this took a lot of time and a lot of effort as those switches used to be manual. The brake would have to hop off and move around 9 pieces of track that could weigh anywhere from 50 to 100 pounds. And for one singular pass, they would have to move it upwards to 4 times. So we implemented our passing lane, turned our switches into hydraulic systems, and it has made things just that much faster and more efficient, allowing us to bring more passengers up each day, as well as stick to our tight time schedule. just ask you please not hang on to our light fixture, use the back of your seat for balance. Please do not linger in the aisle. Also, I will allow you to come all the way up to the door and no further, not out onto the platform. Now we're also entering our second eco zone here, known as the Boreal Forest. Here you'll start to notice a lot of the leaf-bearing trees are disappearing, and all that we have left are our evergreen trees. Now, they might also look like they're growing at an odd angle. I hate to break it to you, but these trees are growing perfectly straight up. It is us that is traveling at an odd angle. I can prove that to you up at our halfway house up here, as that building is exactly level. So you can look into the window, see your reflection. You can get a good sense of how steep we are climbing up the mountain here today. fact fully grown balsam fir trees. Dartmouth came up here and did a study and found that they could be upwards to 150 years old. So not only are they fully grown, they have been around for a very long time, some of them being almost as old as our railroad. His job tells me we're at about 5,000 feet in elevation nearing our tree line here on Mount Washington. When the wind chill was added on, we set a new North American record coming in at negative 108 degrees Fahrenheit. might have looked like it won that fight, but that's because it was repaired about 4 weeks ago. That metal pole in the middle was bent over completely in half. in terms of safety, I do ask you guys please find your seats and remain seated for the rest of our ride. As always, Engineer Steven, through our last switch, I'll hop off the train, guide us into our platform, and hop back on and let you guys know when it is safe to exit. When Steven and I work hard, so you guys can just sit back, relax, and enjoy a nice, scenic, and informative ride. We do strive for a job well done, so I hope you guys enjoy our out-on trip here today. And as I won't see you guys again, I hope you guys all have an amazing rest of your day. There's plenty to see, plenty to do, and even more to explore up here in northern New Hampshire. If you are traveling, I do wish you safe travels. Thank you guys for being such great passengers, and we'll have our summit here shortly. So once again, have a great day, and I will be on